All right, so this is about the Gaza protests. Roughly 60 people were killed by the Israeli military for essentially protesting the awful conditions uh, inside Gaza. Now, for those that don't know, Gaza is under a military blockade where nothing can really get in or out. Very little food, materials, building materials can come in and out of the strip. And really, as far as I'm concerned, Gaza to me, it's become a giant open air jail. It's more like a concentration camp at this point. The images out of that place are, it's just absolutely horrific. And in light of these protests, the Israeli military has been trying very hard to sanitize their crimes over there. And this is what, and if whomever has been following the Israeli Palestinian conflict really knows this. They always try to paint the Palestinians as the bad guys, and the Israelis almost always are the victims. So, as you can see from their Twitter account here, there's one tweet here. They write, "The IDF transfers. The IDF transferred. Okay, well, the IDF transfers humanitarian aid to Gaza and will continue to do so in the future. On Tuesday, the IDF transferred large quantities of equipment to Gaza. All of it was returned by the Hamas terror organization. Whether or not that is true, we do not know." Here they post a picture of, actually, this isn't even them, these are Jordanian ambulances, and this is an article I read earlier saying they allowed the Gazans to go all the way to Jordan to receive medical treatment, and these are the unarmed protesters who were wounded by the Israeli military. And my question is, why couldn't they be treated in Israel? What's wrong with taking them to an Israeli hospital and having them be seen over there? That's my question. But I think we all know why. This is just what they do. They always try to sanitize their brutality. And really, Netanyahu has been very, in my estimation, he's been very bad for Israel. This guy made the mistake of allying with the Republicans, the neoconservatives, evangelicals, and the conservative wing of the Republican Party. In history, most Israeli prime ministers never did that. They never picked sides when it came to internal, domestic American politics. And that's what Netanyahu did. I don't know if you guys remember, but a few years ago, Netanyahu came to the White House. No, he came to the U.S. and he didn't bother to speak to Obama. He went to Congress, and Congress, the Republicans in Congress, gave him the floor, and he was able to give a whole speech, and it was just it was really humiliating to Obama, very humiliating, because when most foreign leaders come to the United States, I mean, the British prime ministers and other key allies have addressed Congress. However, they usually visit the president first, then they go to Congress. And this guy, he skipped all that together and he just went to Congress. So that's like what it is. And now you have the situation with the embassy where Donald Trump is in office and he doesn't know anything about the Middle East. He doesn't care about the Middle East. He doesn't even has the slightest interest in even trying to understand the Middle East. And instead, what does he do? He torpedoes the peace process, or whatever was left of it, by recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital. And this has been a right-wing Zionist Christian fantasy come true for a long time. So effectively, the peace process is dead. And this is what the Palestinians in Gaza have been protesting against. And regarding the IDF, they have had a very, very difficult time in trying to explain themselves. It even says here, this is an Israeli website called Ynet. Says here, senior IDF spokesperson's unit official, Hamas landed a PR knockout. And if you just read the first paragraph right here, it says, while Hamas has admitted that most of the Palestinians killed in Gaza, in the Gaza border, the quote-unquote riots, that's what the Israelis refer to it as, allegedly these are riots, when video shows that they're not clearly riots, but anyways, Monday belonged to its ranks. So the IDF conceded it did not intend to kill all of them, saying some of it is our fault for not being able to communicate what we were defending. And they continue, and this lieutenant colonel says, the decisive image was attained by the Palestinians in a knockout, and it was a graphic image. Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan Conricus, a senior officer in the IDF spokesperson unit, said Wednesday. So this guy, he's pretty much conceded that Israel has been utterly humiliated, and the image of unarmed protesters being shot by what many would consider to be supposedly a professional army does not bode well for Israel's image. And this is something they're not going to recover from this. There is no recovery from this. I mean, this might play well within internal Israeli politics, but internationally, this will not play well. And already a lot of key figures in the American left have come out and they've condemned Israel. They have practically sided with the Palestinians. And if you just take a look at The Onion is a satirical magazine, but it's mainly run by more establishment-friendly type of people. And according to Vice News, they came out with an article. The Onion's brutal Israel commentary goes beyond satire. The country's leading humor publication has taken a stance on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict in a way that most, quote, real newspapers haven't. And The Onion pretty much called it like what it is. In their own unique way. They called it murder. And they have articles here. IDF soldier recounts heroic war story of killing an 8-month-old child. So they're calling it for what it is. And a lot of the Democrats, or rather members of the Democratic Party, they're no longer as friendly to Israel as in the past. And that's especially true with the younger members. Poll after poll shows that many Democrats want the United States to take a tougher line on Israel. And I have news for Israel and their supporters. The Republicans and the Trump types, they're not going to be in charge forever. America has elections every 4 years. They have congressional elections every 2 years. The Democrats will be back in power. And when that happens, brace for impact.